Many thanks for staying tuned. It's still the conversation here on Lagos Television. On the program this morning, would like to at least weigh in on the ongoing crisis, political crisis in Rivers State, and perhaps we can find some solutions or prefer some solutions onto these issues. That is, if those solutions will hold waters. But of course, what are some of the antecedents of these issues, perhaps that also needs to be addressed, and maybe that also would be a good way to start if indeed these issues are to be solved. And joining the conversation this morning is a lawyer and political affairs analyst, Liberals Oshoma. Thank you for being here on the program this morning.
Thank you. Thank you.
Liberals, let me start this way. And when we started the program this morning, I did allude to the fact that the problems, or one of the problems in Rivers State, could it also be a case of antecedent? Is it a case of the fact that Rivers, I mean, if we look at perhaps the tenure of Peter Odili and Donald Duke, perhaps you'd also, since after those two, it has not been that rosy for governance in Rivers State. Is it possible that we're able to trace some of these issues to the antecedent of past leaders in Rivers State?
No, Donald Duke was not a governor in...
Peter Odili, I beg your pardon, please pardon me for that mistake. Go ahead, please.
So Donald Duke was not a governor in Rivers State. It is not only just Peter Odili. It's a crisis of governance in Nigeria. What happens is there's this perception of a mentality of the king can do no wrong. And so that's our cultural practice. And we carry it into political practice, forgetting that the kind of orientation that our kings were given those days is not the same kind of orientation that our political parties are given or political leaders are given. They are no mentorship. And even the kings of these days, sorry to say. So you have this perception of the king can do no wrong. And so once a king, and I also tell you that a political office in Nigeria is like a tenured monarch. So while he's on the throne, he can do and undo. So the moment he's leaving, it suddenly dawned on the monarch that he's about to vacate the stew. And so he needs a stooge that he can put there who will be answerable to him consistently, because he now sees himself as the monarch, although tenure has ended. Right. So that is the mentality that we carry into political office. And that's why you see every governor that is leaving will want to impose somebody. And the moment he imposed somebody, like Amechi once told Odili indirectly, that now there's a new cook in the kitchen. And so once there's a new cook in the kitchen, that new cook, whether imposed or whether put there by a passive godfather, he sees himself as, look, I'm the monarch so now. Why should I be answerable to somebody who was not answerable to anybody while he was in office? So it is that mentality that you see consistently play out in almost every state. And that's why they always have problems. If you remember Abia State, you had Oju Zokalu and T.A. Oji. Edo State, Oshomole and Chief Tony Aneni before, and then subsequently Oshomole and Obaseki. And, the list is endless. The list is endless. Even in Lagos State here, what led to Ambode's not getting a second term are similar to those things, So, and what you see playing out in Rivers is also not different from this practice. But, however, for Wike, for example, Wike fought the established institutions in Rivers State. He felt they were those that supported Amechi against Odili. So when Odili became a governor, he felt, look, there's an unwritten arrangement. And so when that didn't happen, they fell out. He went to Abuja and had a new godfather, new godparent. He
struck a deal.
Yes. And eventually he was able to muzzle his way. He became governor. So there was no perceived godfather who was a former governor breathing down his neck. He chased them away from the party. And so he was the lord of the manor. He could do and undo. He would tell you, I am the governor now. When I leave and you become the governor, you can do it your way. He
right.
talks down on traditional rulers and, you know. So he was the Lord of all. If he wants to buy this cup, he will address the press. He wants to drink water, he will address the press. And so when election came, typical of all of them, they look for that one person who they perceive to be too loyal.
Right.
And then they say, okay, you come. This man is loyal.
And then
come and be. I'll use this person. And then the person gets there. The people you should fear the most are not those people in power.
Okay.
But the people around the corridors of power. Because the people around the corridors of power are the people that advise those in power to be your own man, because they know that they'll benefit. And they say, when you eat with a glutton, he insists that you eat together because he knows he will eat more. So they insist, you know, look, be your own man. Let's do it this way. It is your turn to eat. Your village people will come. No, it's our turn. No, don't let anybody dictate to you.
Right.
And the man who puts you there indirectly also is talking about the structure that brought you.
Right.
The people that supported you, they need to be compensated, because political office here is about compensation.
Right.
It is not a service. We miss the point when we say, oh, the person went to serve. No, nobody's serving anybody.
Right.
It's about compensation. That's why they can use siren to chase you off the road. So that compensation, when some persons don't get the compensation, then there is a crisis. That's the crisis you see in Rivers State. And it is not about to go down or end soon. Because when you talk about solution, it's not about to end soon, because what is at stake is very big.
Okay.
It's a massive pot. So, and nobody is ready to shift ground.
Right.
The Godfather will say, I will take 60. The new crown king will say, no,
You can't do that.
I will take 60. So that's where the problem is. If they were ready to go, you know, head to head, 50-50, probably we'll be having peace. And then maybe, just maybe, being a political crisis, if the president is able to call the three parties, just the three, without those around the corridors,
the hangers on.
let them ventilate their grievances and then find a middle ground to it. Probably, then you can have rivers of peace. But until then, you continue to have rivers of crisis and blood.
Okay. Some have also looked at issues around resource control. You've mentioned, you know, the power struggle here. Some have mentioned resource control as well as regional issues as some of the issues that have brought Rivers State to where it is at the moment. So you don't believe that is?
No,
so
it has nothing to do with, except maybe when you say resource control, except the control of the levers of power of the government.
Okay.
But when we say resource control about fiscal federalism and, you know, derivation and all those powers to the federating unit, it has nothing to do with it. If it's about collective, you know, the state, the federal shedding its power to the federating unit, then it won't be only Rivers State. Okay. It will be a question of let us even strengthen the local government, that system that we have, because all problems are local. And the only way you can solve the problem is to localize solution. Okay. Because, for example, I don't see why federal government should be sharing palliative. How many people does federal government know live in Kosofe local government? So, but it is the duty of the local government, the Kosofe local government, to understand the figures and the people that need yam, those that need beans, those that need rice. Okay. Not the federal government just releasing one truck of trailer and say, give to Kosofe people. And then you now appoint people, those people that will share. And those people take half out. So it has nothing to do with resource control per se in terms of the balance resource control, but it's about the resources or the levers or powers of the state. That's basically what is at play. And that's, you also see playing out now in PDP, by extension in PDP, because you have a former governor who has, you know, a strong foothold in PDP with one leg in APC. And then you have his people who, according to him, that apart from the governor of Zamfara, every other person he supported, who also feel we owe this man something. Right. So and then he had the money to also cause crisis. That's why he says, look, if you try me, if you dare me, I put fire in your state.
Your state's on fire.
Oh, so all of this, because also, if Wike were not a minister, he probably would have been, they would have chased him out of Rivers State.
So he's taking solace in Abuja.
That is why Oshomole, for example, I would people say I always go to Edo State. It's
Because
my
that's
state.
your
So
state.
I have the policies of Edo State at my fingertips. Oshomole, for example, the moment he left the office of the national chairman of the party, he became a nobody. He became a former governor. He became a nobody. They could chase him from the airport. There were gunshots. The moment he came back as senator,
right.
you know, he had largesse to distribute. He will always have hangers on. You'll see people come to his house again. His phone will suddenly begin to ring. But once you are no more in power,
Right.
you are no more relevant.
Okay.
Your money becomes old money. Even all these people that are still hanging on and waiting with him would have long be gone. Half of them would have been
So
gone.
is that why majority of them always want to remain in power? Because
Yes,
that's one of the ways to remain relevant.
That's one of the ways to remain relevant. Also, let me tell you that in Nigeria, you can have ungoverned territories in terms of insecurity, but there are no ungoverned territories politically. Every territory, once there is a polling booth in that area, there is a leader in those areas. So if you want to know, print posters and just gum them around. That's the day you will know that there's somebody who controls this area politically.
Wow.
They will call you, if the boys does not remove your posters, they will call you and tell you that we have not heard anything. So when it comes to politics, all of them want control.
Right.
And that's why somebody is in Senate because they ask him to go and wait in Senate. There's somebody who is the governor now, maybe when he leaves.
Then,
or the governor says, go and hold that seat for me.
Okay.
When I leave, I'll come to the
back
Senate.
there.
So he leaves, somebody becomes a commissioner, he becomes a senator, he vies for the office of governor, he doesn't get it, he becomes a commissioner. From commissionership, he becomes special advisor, and then, you know, from there becomes a local government chairman. He just wants that, you know, something that will make him relevant,
Right.
something that will bring people to his house, something that will make people continually feed from his hands. That's why, because here also we do not respect people who we feel are not in power. The day that some of your primary school mates you have not seen, you think probably, you know, some are dead. The day they will give you special advisor to the governor. That's the day you know that all of them are alive. They will
come and look for me.
They will take out, you won't know when it will be planned, paid advert in the newspaper to congratulate you. Half of them that are coming to visit you will come with proposals. It's our turn to make money. It's our turn now. So, and you are overwhelmed with demands than even the work that you are appointed to do. So if you are somebody who is swayed and carried away by power, you always, you know, look, let me tell you, may they call you His Excellency for just 2 weeks. That time you know, blame Wike.
So let's come back to Nyesom Wike, because again, a lot of people have said, yes, he made the governor, or he put Sim Fubara there, and he should have actually left the reins of powers to him and allow him to govern and allow the people of River State to enjoy good governance. But you chuckled, like good governance, no be moi moi, as we speak. So it doesn't look like that is happening at the moment. Nobody is even particular about issues around governance. Everybody wants to remain relevant. And now structures. Now you have, you know, places being burned, election. We're not even sure if this election will stand because of...
you mean the selection?
You said that, Liberals.
No, it's a selection. Local governments, what you call local government election, are local government selection. Local governments have been reduced to salary-paying agencies by the governor. So what they do is just select some persons. For election, there are processes to every election. There's distribution of materials, there's voting, there's accreditation, there's voting, there's sorting, there's vote counting, then there is announcement, there's collation. But for the local government elections, what you see is distribution of materials. Don't ask me where they are distributed from, sometimes from government house. And then there is voting.
Where? And
then there might be sorting, but there is no counting. There's no announcement. There's no collation. But winners emerge. So when you have such a structure, when Wike, to now answer your question, when Wike was governor, people said, oh, Wike is building bridges. You know, in the land of the blind, the one-eyed man becomes
He's
the
the
king.
king.
Oh, Wike is building bridges. And I consistently ask the question, where is the human capital development element in all of this? There are no jobs. You're building bridges. Yes, fine. But we're not even asking how much, what is the cost? Because all the bridges built, I can't see where the State House of Assembly approved budget.
Okay.
But people said, after all, he's using it here. Some people took their own away. Some people stole and took the money away. That's on one side. Now, against all odds, he fought tooth and nail to impose a lackey who was even wanted by the EFCC. And he shaded him, kept him in government house, just like T.Oji and Ojus Okalu, and until he became a governor. And you know, yeah, they say the enemy of my enemy is my friend. So now that same man that everybody, oh yes, Wike rigged the election for him. And then the moment they started fighting, people now said, oh no, this is the weaker one. Let's support him. Wike, leave this man to work. Leave him to work. You ask yourself, which work? So because Wike is, you know, seem to be supporting the bigger party, APC, that is causing so much pain and hunger. And so people like, anybody supporting APC, it's a devil. So now PDP is a new bride. Let's support this weaker person.
Weaker person that
the weaker person, nobody is asking. All of this fight, is it about you and I? The answer is no. So is it about the development, like you said? The answer is no.
Okay.
So it's about personal ego. So if it's about allow the man to walk, in the first place, you won't even bring your head to wear the crown because you know how the crown was given to you.
Right.
So now the crown has been given to you, like the green biro that he said, this is what they want, this green biro. So you are having a battle with, and then there are issues, there are court cases.
Right.
One gets to Abuja, he gets an order.
And then
the other one goes to Rivers, he gets an order,
right.
conflicting orders. And people, irrespective of the process, people will support one. Right. Those supporting Wike will support Wike. Those supporting Sim will support Sim. The president tried to intervene. And then, like I told you, the dangerous people, those around the corridors of power, say, no gree. No agree. It's an executive order.
And now you are the governor.
And you know you are the governor. Somebody cannot dictate to you. And what did he now do? The president said, you guys should go and withdraw the case in court. Rather than wait for the people that filed the case to withdraw, he withdrew his own counter affidavits to the matter. And so the moment those counter affidavits were withdrawn, that means you no longer have a defense to the matter. And then the people that filed the case did not withdraw the case, and court gave judgment on the basis of the originating processes. Now, as we abuse law, we have so bastardized law that, contrary to Section 91 of the Constitution that says that for every State House of Assembly shall have at least 24 members and not more than
two-thirds majority of
no, not more than 40 members.
Okay.
That's Section 91.
Right.
Every House of Assembly must have at
That's
least
the composition of
yes,
members.
of House of Assembly must have at least 24 members, no more than 40. The Rivers State House of Assembly, the governor says there are 3 or 4 members. Presented a budget before the four lawmakers. In the morning, the few minutes later, the budget was passed. Few hours later, it was assented to by, and the people are defending it.
Yeah.
That, yes, that is the House of Assembly. Section 190 of the Constitution, subsection 1 and 2, says once you defect, you lose your seats.
Right.
But provided there is no division in your party. And we all know the Supreme Court has interpreted in so many cases that division means division at the national office of the party.
Right.
So there's no division in PDP. But the caveat is that subsection 2 says that it is the speaker who shall give effect to this defection.
And the speaker defected.
And so when the speaker defected, who now gives effect?
The speaker that has defected.
Just like when Tambuwa defected, who gave effect to that provision? Nobody. Tambuwa stayed out his tenure. So you now say you have impeached the speaker. A member who was suspended now comes with 4 other members or 5 other members and say they have impeached the speaker. And then the people who criticized Evans BP. Evans BP, if you remember, led 5 members of the same Rivers State House of Assembly during Amechi's time to attempt to suspend 27 lawmakers to impeach Amechi, that led to the fights in the House. People that criticize Evans BP today are supporting the 4 members. Why those who supported Amechi then
are criticizing?
Okay, you know, so you see the flip side.
Let me quickly hold your thoughts. We need to take a break. When we return, we would again talk about the role of the judiciary in all of this and how. Should we continue? Okay, all right, let's go on. Because again, that is your constituency, and you did say here that this is a show of bastardizing the law and also taking, you know, the law, the one that pays you is where you will go to. Yeah, but again, there has been a ruling asking that is not acceptable. 4 lawmakers cannot pass a budget. And yet we have the governor and his attorney general saying that will be appealed. If you look at that in the face of law, what does that really portend?
Let me tell you, first and foremost, you see, let me start from the local government election, the judgment of the FCT High Court, the Federal High Court in Abuja. You ask yourself, what is the business of the FCT High Court in stopping the police from doing its constitutional duty, performing its constitutional duty?
In Rivers State.
In Rivers State. What is the business? What is the business of the FCT High Court in stopping INEC from handing over a register
to SIEC?
To the state SIEC. They say until it is updated. Tell me, which states conducted local government election with INEC updated register? None. So when it came to Rivers,
why would there be a difference?
Why would there be a difference? And then you now even went ahead to say the police, when a State House of Assembly or a National Assembly is in the process of making law, the court will tell you we can't stop that law until the law is made. That is when you can challenge the law. Stopping the process will mean denying the House of Assembly or the legislature their duty.
Right.
So in this case, the police, you're stopping them from performing their duty. Don't protect lives and properties. What is their business? What is the business of the court? That's on one side.
Okay.
Now, on the other end, the governor went to Rivers State and said, look, the court went ahead and said, police, protect, lives and properties. Anyway, if INEC cannot give you register, use the one that you have. They said that, well, we have collected one since November last year.
Go ahead and use it.
He said, use it anyhow. And so civil defense said, we'll provide you security. And so at the end of the day, they did whatever they did and announced results. The same way the 4 lawmakers emerged. And the court now is saying, look, it's an abuse of the process. You can't. There is nowhere. This should not be allowed to stand. And the governor says, I'm going to appeal. Do you know why? Because we are so used to impunity now, impunity on both ends, that, you know, even when senior lawyers see impunity, provided their palm is greased, they will support it.
And they will take their eyes off it.
Exactly. And that's why you find out that politicians, retired judges, you know, and those that know somebody that knows somebody, it's only their children that are becoming judges these days. The day judges are no longer determining political tenure or political office holders or who holds office, that day nobody will be interested in who becomes a judge. They are interested because they know that these are the people that will determine their position in office.
Okay.
That's why a senator came out to tell us that, I remember how I used to beg my wife, for some of you here, who was a president court of appeal.
Yeah.
So that's when people tell me, oh, the judiciary destroyed Nigeria, I said, no, Nigerian destroyed judiciary.
Okay, liberals. I mean, then we can't leave this conversation without talking about institution, because rightly you've put it here that until institutions are strengthened, until no man will stop, and then we'll continue to go in cycle and we'll continue to have judgment that would either favor or the other way around. So who will bail the cat?
Let me tell you.
What's going to happen to these institutions that at the moment we are making a mess of?
The people, the everyday people. I like what is happening in Nigeria. I like the hunger. It's not even enough. You should bite more.
Are you hungry?
I'm not.
Okay, all right.
I fast.
You fast. Okay.
So it should bite more. Probably when it bites harder,
Okay.
Nigerians will wake up.
Will they wake up or will there be a revolution? Because again,
When I mean wake up, anything you want to call it.
Okay.
Maybe that, you know, some of us have been praying, let this oil dry so that we look ourselves in the face and find alternative to this.
the oil.
You know, to become a governor, maybe apart from Lagos, in most states in Nigeria is the laziest thing that you can be. All you need to do is fold your hands, wait. Month ending, allocation will come.
and then you'll get yours from the federation account.
Yes, once the first allocation come, you begin to dish out and give order. You take your own now, you take your own now. So that's the cheapest thing and easiest thing to do. So, when we talk about institution, during Yaradua admitted that the election that brought him to office was flawed.
Yeah.
He set up a panel, Waste Panel report. Waste Panel went round and collated a report that the first thing for us to get credible people into office is to ensure that the election is credible.
Right.
So when you have credible people, it is these credible people that will build credible institutions. And so, election first, you conduct elections that the cases at the tribunal must be determined before swearing in. And that also, secondly, we must embrace technology. And in embracing technology, this idea of INEC conducting election, and then you go back to INEC and you are begging them for the materials when they have posted these materials online, shouldn't be. Once these materials are posted online, you can take them from there
and then
submit them before the court, and the court will look at what is online, and in 14 days, decide one way or the other. Just like it is in Kenya.
Right.
Just like it was those days. If you remember, in Ondo State, Justice Orojo, then, because then governorship elections were handled by the judges in the state. Not like now where you bring a judge from Arugungu to come and look into election in Lagos. Justice Orojo headed the governorship tribunal in Ondo State. The tribunal started sitting a week after the election, a Monday, and by Saturday, the next week, judgment was delivered. That was then. The same thing with Sisi Ono, if you remember, Sisi Ono and Jimu Mobodo. So, but today, before now, governorship election terminates at the Court of Appeal.
Right.
But because the Supreme Court wanted a bite of the cherry, they took the matter. Now it must terminate at the Supreme Court. So that is the only election. By the time you are doing election, you're also keeping money for legal, for tribunal. You will start from the tribunal, from there to Court of Appeal, from there to Supreme Court. So we have so bastardized the system that now everybody waits. Even if you lose, the court can make you a governor, just like Imo State. So until we go back as the people, local government election will come. We'll say where there is select, so we won't participate. Meanwhile, that is where the main problem is.
Right,
Our problem is local. And solution to every problem is also local. And we say politics is local. So, but we are not interested because I know somebody who knows somebody who knows somebody who will give me contract.
Okay.
So National Assembly election will come. You are not interested because you know somebody who knows somebody who knows somebody. And meanwhile, you are not a human being if government says you are not a human being. That's why they give you certificate of birth. You are not even educated if government says you are not educated. You are not, you can't even run a business. They say, will you open an account without an identity? Without a certificate to open that account? You can't even run a business. And then the people that will decide whether you live, whether you're a human being or not,
don't care.
You don't care. And so they get there, rather than make laws, they will sit down and they are more interested in constituency project. Do you know, let me shock you, do you know that anytime you see all of these constituency projects, sharing of sewing machines, blender, and all of those things, do you know that sometimes after those things have been distributed and the press had gone, they retrieve them back and then just give peanuts to the women that they paraded and nobody gets anything?
Right.
So until the people get involved
Right.
in the process of election and say, look, anyhow you want to do it,
We are part of it.
we are part of it. It is not a 100-meter dash. And that is why every election you'll be frustrated. They'll frustrate you so that the next one you won't be involved. You say, even if we vote,
And
you know,
that's
go,
why
you know, go
voter
come.
apathy.
Yes, it is a marathon.
Basis, okay?
If you are defeated this time, next time be over-prepared.
Okay.
Until you do that, we'll just come back 4 years' time
Okay,
and we'll complain
we need
again.
to take a break now. When we return, perhaps we can wrap up this conversation by again asking how can the issues in River State be overcome? That is, if Liberals has any answer to that question. We'll be back after this short break.
When you wake up in the morning, you want to start your day. Start with Kellogg's, with Kellogg's. You can reach your grades, stay active and alert. Start your day right.
Because Kellogg's is fortified with the essential vitamins and minerals you need to start your day right. With Kellogg's, you can reach your grade.
A breakfast time is Kellogg's time.
The conversation here on Lagos Television. Of course, we still have a guest here this morning, and perhaps as we look at wrapping up this conversation this morning, are there solutions? Is there any way out of this particular issue in River State? And like I asked Liberals earlier, governance should also remain paramount, but he laughed when I asked that question. I'm going to go back to that issue. I mean, the people of River State at the moment, Sim Fubara is the governor, whether we like it or not, but then are the people also expecting some kind of governance from him now that, you know, the money he's even spending, we can see that as he's even spending it illegally, because if the court had ruled that the budget passed by 4 lawmakers is an aberration, so what should the governor himself also do? Can he also retrace his steps one way or the other, rather than wanting to go to the Supreme Court for another interpretation of this ruling?
I wonder what he's going to do in the Supreme Court, seriously, because when you don't have a defense to an action, so it is just to delay the matter. I don't think both parties want peace. So in the absence of peace, they will continue to, while the governor is spending, Wike also will also have a ground to at least maybe remain in APC, because maybe those people he supported will not want him to be disgraced out. And so there are people who benefit from crisis. And so, but the governor should know that he has more to lose because it is tenure. Wike has done his own. He will be remembered for something.
Right.
The governor should also remember that ask himself, what would I be remembered for? If I fight this fight to the end, at the end of the day, there will be bruises. Who will it benefit? That's where you stoop to conquer.
Right.
You know, so the elders in River State cannot solve this matter.
Because again,
they have all taken sides.
So
no,
the elders,
the elders have all taken sides. They've all taken sides, clearly. So
But
they
so
cannot
earlier-
call each party. So when an elder eats from a young boy's hand, it will be difficult to tell him the
Right,
truth.
but you did say that
So
maybe the president.
That's
should
what I'm
call
saying,
them,
that the
but
president is the only person who can call them to order. And in calling them to order, he has to be very systematic.
Okay.
Systematic
So
in the
he's
sense
not
that
seen also as holding
yes, as taking
forward,
side,
okay?
because some persons will always,
Say Wike is his friend.
yes, they'll say Wike is his friend. So he should call the two parties, have a closed-door meeting with just three of them. Sit
the
down.
third person?
No, the president,
just the
and
president
then
is third.
let them ventilate
First.
Allow them to ventilate. Wike can talk.
Is it? Yeah.
Fubara also can talk, even though he hardly talks. But when he talks,
But
you know
he's
that.
been talking.
You know, yeah, exactly. So allow them to ventilate. Then now ask each of them what is the solution to the problem.
Okay, let them prefer the solution.
Let them
themselves.
prefer the solution. And then as an elder, you know, in Nigeria, every president is Baba. So as an elder, you can now, you know, do what Wike calls Ihendeba, you know, and then you ice the cake.
Okay.
So when that happens, none of them will come out and say, I did not agree to this. This was forced on me.
Right.
So with that, there are two power blocks. They can call, you know, each other to order. There are people to order and say, you know what, for the sake of peace, let us look at, because don't be shocked that people will kill themselves for these two people.
True,
Tomorrow,
they will be friends again.
they'll be friends. Look at Philip Shaibu and Moshomole.
Yes.
You know, upon all
Yes,
the
nobody's
insult
got-
and the
right.
quarrel, but today they are all doing
Barrack.
a phone together. You know, so that's what politicians do. So it is the two of them that can solve the problem, not even the court, because the court clearly also has taken side.
Right.
The court in Rivers State for the governor, the court in the FCT
Abuja for
Wike.
Wike.
So they have also, lawyers also have taken sides.
Right. Everybody-
you know,
everybody,
so it is
yeah.
about money here for some persons, because as this issue is brewing, there are people who are making money on both sides.
Right. Okay, I think we'd have to leave it there. So for peace to reign in Rivers State, like our guest has said this morning, it is time for Mr. President to weigh in here meaningfully and allow both men to decide the best way forward for Rivers and not just about one person here. We do hope that, of course, this will be, you know, the step that will be taken to find peace or to bring peace to Rivers. Thank you so much, Liberals, for finding time to be here on the program
My
today.
pleasure always.
All right, we'll take a quick break. The conversation returns shortly.
The views expressed on this program do not represent that of the producer, management of Lagos Television, or the Lagos State Government. They remain the perspectives of those expressing them. Thank you for staying with Lagos Television.